What's going on, Paisanos? V here, coming at you guys, well, with another market watch today. You know, when Darkwing Blast first came out, I said, hey, listen, wait for that Magnificent Mavens, as it's going to have the stuff that humans is going to need. But, to be honest with you, Darkwing Blast has a lot of stuff a lot of players need, and it's mostly players that are playing Telements or Sprites. And it's so weird to say that because second place at yesterday's YCS Minneapolis was neither. But at the same time, you gotta be aware of these decks. You gotta be aware of these cards, and you gotta understand what they do. So even though you might not be buying your Telement Rukalos, Sprite Sprint, a Bestial, whatever monster name, it doesn't really matter. You still have to understand what they do. It's really important because a lot of players who are playing Telements, who are playing Sprites, or a mix of both, are going to be using these cards. Now, we didn't really see much Blazing Cartesia or Virtuous. We're still waiting for more deck profiles to come out from yesterday's YCS, and I do think she's going to be in some of them. It's a great card that's only needed as a one-of. And here's the weird part about Darkwing Blast. The one-ofs, their value probably is going to be going down. I mean, Blazing Cartesia is a great card, but since it's not a three-of, is it worth 30 bucks? Probably not. Timarukalos is a great card. You need it if you're playing Telements. Is it worth 20 bucks? Probably not. Sprite's Bryn. Well, this one's actually seeing 1 to 2, mostly 1. Is it worth $17? Arguably. Kashtira. I don't want to butcher his name, but his name's easy to butcher. Kashtira Fenrir. This card is right now about $60. Is it worth it? Well, the deck that won first place yesterday played 3 of them. So obviously it has good value. And I do think it's a great card. But here's the question, is it worth it? That's the main question right now. Is it worth 60? Comment down below, let me know what you think about that in this video. Are you playing it? Are you looking to get it? The card did have a crazy spike from its original value, which I believe was roughly around the $40 price point. But now it's on 60. Is it going to hold that price point in the short term? It's really hard to say. This card also does see play in the Oshi in the Telements, so obviously you're going to need it, but is it worth it at its current high price point? I don't think so. We have to see, though. The Bestial Lubellion still the most expensive secret rare out of Darkwing Blast, being roughly around $76. The only deck I've seen this in is the Thunder Dragon version of Bestials. Now, I'm not saying this card's bad, but is it worth playing it in other builds of other decks? Can it be played? I don't think so. I'm not sure, but I haven't seen it in any other builds. One thing I thought was really interesting is Spellbound. Now, this card didn't see as much play yesterday, or throughout the weekend, though it's a good card, but not as good. It's not like an Ultimate Slay side situation I thought it was going to be, where it might see a little bit of play early on, and slowly die away. Spellbound, for the most part, saw almost no play. Comment down below, do you like this card? Is it worth it? Let me know. Now, Chaos Daedalus saw play in a top 4 deck at this past YCS event. This card says, must be first for someone from your hand by banishing 1 light and dark monster from your graveyard. While a face-off spell is on the field, your opponent can target this target light and dark monsters you control with card effects. You can target cards on the field up to the number of face-off field spells on the field, banish them, which is not bad, but is it worth it? Well, after you mill this, then what? This card, once again, added Toon Chaos, ultra rare, it's roughly around $1.45. If you do want to get the CR is roughly around 20 bucks a copy. I mean, it quickly, okay, so it's 22 with shipping. They're still sitting $25 a copy. So once again, is this card worth it? I'm not a big fan of this card, but I understand why people want to check in and try something new out, especially this weekend where everyone was trying something new. So, Lava Golem saw a lot of play, and I think, in my opinion, Lava Golem is the beginning of Runic's, well, evolution, or de-evolution, depending on how you look at it. Runic is going to be becoming a more of an anti-meta deck. Right now, it's not, but in my personal opinion, I think that's what it's going to be looking at for Runic players. If you own a Runic core, you might as well start looking at anti-meta cards, as I think that is where your deck is going to be going. Especially with the release of Magnificent Mavens, it's going to put an even bigger advantage. And by the end of this market watch, I have one card that actually beats Runic's. That I don't think not many players have been talking about. Now, once again, Lava Golem's a great card, and there's different rarities, all kinds of rarities. Speed of 1 Pack 3 has it at roughly around 35 bucks. Dual Turmo has it roughly, well, it says 10, but it's really 23. And then you got a bunch of other copies. I personally like the Philosophies Guardian versions, secret rare version of this card. A version copy starts roughly around, let's see, for Name It Like You Played, a lot. It's a lot of money. I mean, 125. So this card's kind of cleaned up from that market, unfortunately. I mean, yeah. Man, the Lava Golem version at a dual terminal is still a really good card. This copy is going for roughly around $18 to $19. I mean, it's not bad for DT3. It did get that DT reprint, but once again, it's up to you as far as that. Okay. Tetsuya Arat Newman, the turtle once called God, is only a common in the Shining Darkness, but it also came out of the Shining Darkness, which has had no reprints of this card. Now, this card says neither play against special monsters with 1800 or more attack, which is insanely relevant. If you look at the market, it's starting to go down in value. And if you look at it over here, you see a copy for $7. This one has it for $7 as well. And then another $20, $25. So it looks like the price of Tetsuya Rat Newman is $7. Now, once again, it's a side deck card. You need only one of these. But do you need it? Well, if you look at the YCS, players are still using it. And the combo was still putting in a lot of work. Is it enough, though? And do you have one? Let me know if you do. We also have Floowandereeze. Now, once again, I constantly talk about Floowandereeze, and people, look down on this deck. Go ahead and sleep in this deck. That kid got second place with Floowandereeze, made a misplay in Game 1, and had he played correctly, we might be seeing a Game 3 of Floowandereeze winning this YCS this past weekend. Of course, that didn't happen. It got made a misplay, and of course, Floowandereeze kind of lost badly. But nevertheless, Floowandereeze is a very, 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 very good deck. And I do think Floowandereeze, this past weekend proves that just because Darkwing Blast came out and has all these new cards that you need to look at, you need to buy, it's money here, money here. Don't forget to buy Timid's field spells, that's money. Don't forget you buy your Sprite Blues, and then buy your Sprite Elves and Sprints. Money, 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 money. Well, besides all that, Floowandereeze players can still play Floowandereeze. And you don't need a lot. I mean, look at the Floowandereeze deck list. The deck lists are pretty much dirt cheap. If you're planning on going second build, yes, you're going to want to play Lightning Storm and evenly match, but those are about to get a reprint in Magnificent Mavens. So it's about to be even cheaper to be a Floowandereeze player. Mind you, a player who can play at a tier 1 level with a dirt cheap deck. That's why I like to see, me personally. I like a meta in which you got a player who plays with his wallet, big expensive cards, and a player who say, hey, listen, I want to play as well at a tier 1 level, but I don't want to do like you and drop the wad on it. So what can I do? Well, the answer is easily Floowandereeze. If you're really coming back into this game, you're saying, V, I'm coming back into Yu-Gi-Oh! I want to be competitive. What's the best deck, but I don't got the best amount of money? It's Floowandereeze. Once again, can I emphasize this point anymore? Yu-Gi-Oh! Players like to look down on Floowandereeze. They go, Floowandereeze players, ugh. Floowandereeze players are so bad. You're not honorable like a tier 1 player. There's no honor in Yu-Gi-Oh! YCS was recently won not too long ago with Mystic Mind Burn. If you're playing honorably, do me a favor, stay at your locals, never leave it. Because the minute you go to a regionals or YCS or any other big Yu-Gi-Oh! Event, you're going to get dominated, and you're going to go, well, at least I played honorable. You know what honorable gets you? 0-3 dropout, and you having lunch by 12 p.m. Anyone laughing at you as they're going into round 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like, don't play me with that crap about honor in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or don't play me about this weird deck superiority. Don't get me wrong, I own Sprites, I own tier limits, I just recently finally got my cards in, and I owned Floowandereeze. But I hate when people say, oh, this guy plays X and Y deck. I always make fun of Yu-Gi-Oh! Players when I'm playing Mystic Mind Burn, but realistically, I should have the answers for it. At least try to. And I should try to at least work to stopping it, as everyone should. Runic is the reason why, by the way, Mystic Mind wasn't as prevalent this past weekend. Once again, we talked about that, but it's really important to note that. Another card you're going to need if you are playing Floowandereeze is Harpy's Featherstorm. This card is as low as $3 and as high as $6. You're going to want 3 of these, whether it's in your main or your side. It is a must-have card for Floowandereeze. The other expensive card, obviously, is Floowandereeze and the Advent of Adventure, and of course, Pot of Prosperities. Now, with the recent reprint out of 2022 28 and Pharaoh Gods, Pot of Prosperities is roughly around $40. So once again, you can play Floowandereeze cheaper, substitute it out with Pot of Extravagance, way cheaper. The card got reprinted as a common, but Prosperity will get you the best results. 2 of the players in the top 8 more than likely played Pot of Prosperity and did not play Extravagance. So maybe play Extravagance at most 2, but even then, you don't really see that as much. I'm just saying Pot of Prosperity is definitely a card you want to get if you are looking to play Floowandereeze at maximum capacity. Nightmare Crypto Iblis is another great card. The guy that won the YCS yesterday did run this card. I've been talking about this card forever. This card, out of Flames of Destruction, holds up roughly around $15 market price. This is a great card. You also have the Ultra Rare out of 2019 Gold Star Tin. That one's going to run you roughly around $6. This is such a phenomenal card because it stops your opponent from playing if they don't have the answer. It forces your opponent to make plays they don't want to make, and in Yu-Gi-Oh!, that's normally a good thing. Nightmare Crypto Iblis is a phenomenal card, and obviously with its low price point currently, a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Players might be tucking this card in, so be ready for this, Yu-Gi-Oh! Players. Alright, Then we have Nimble Beaver. The reason why this card price is so low because it's going to be getting a reprint in the new OTS pack coming out soon. Nimble Angler, on the other hand, that's not getting a reprint. This card right now at Abyss Rising is roughly around, well, with shipping, $8 a copy for a common out of Abyss Rising. That's why it's so important to look at the market and understand why these cards are doing the reason they're doing. Nimble Angler, just because it came out of Abyss Rising and there's no other reprints in sight at the moment. Because of that, that's the reason why it holds a crazy high price point. The guy that won yesterday played 3 of them. We also see other builds that run 2 of them. I mean, it's up to you what you want to play if you can afford it, but this is definitely a card that's up for consideration for a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players. Then we have Triple Tactics Talents. We were slowly gravitating towards a more main deck hand trap kind of format, and Talents always responds correctly to that. If the format slowly starts evolving to Yu-Gi-Oh play, or devolving depending on how you look at it, into Yu-Gi-Oh players playing more hand traps, Talents is your boy. I mean, this card does everything. Pot of Greed, Change of Hearts, and Confiscation without playing the light points. Triple Deck Talents is a phenomenal card, and obviously a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players are looking to play it. Now, the 2021 Ancient Battle version, the Ultra Rare, is roughly around $13. It's also about to get a reprint in Magnificent Maven, so keep an eye out for that. And the Secret's about $52, and Starlight Rares, oodles of money. So Triple Deck Talents is a phenomenal card, and if you don't have a playset list, you might want to consider it with the impending release of Magnificent Mavens. Speaking of which, Magnificent Mavens is going to be coming out soon. The expensive card right now is Black Soldier, Soldier Chaos. Link is the card I'm looking for, but I'm not going to go in and buy it immediately because I think the price of this card is going to be going down, but it's definitely a card that you want to consider. Currently pre-selling for $25. Evenly Matched is one of the best cards if you don't own it already. Once again, it's $22. A lot of these cards prices will be dropping, by the way. I just want to throw it out there. Lightning Storm, $15. Ablusa Bodegas is coming out in its alternate art printing, finally. So you have to use the gold one, which is ugly, but great artwork. That version is roughly around $12. And there's Triple Tactics Talents right there for roughly around $14. Once again, there's a bunch of Sword cards in here. Skill Drink finally gets an Ultra reprint in here. A lot of great cards coming out of Magnificent Maven. So keep an eye out for this set, because I think this is a set that's going to be changing the game moving forward up until we get the next ban list, whenever that happens. You know, Mudracker from the Underworld is one of the best cards you don't know yet. Don't get me wrong, a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players got this as, I believe, as a promo, I believe. Some did, some didn't. Some OTS stores said they didn't have it. Some OTS stores said they do have it. Did they really have it or not have it? Who knows? But this is a card you want to get right now. This card nobody's looking at right now. This is a secret coming out of Darkwing Blast. This card has a price point of roughly around, well, $4 to $5 with shipping. Mudracker from the Underworld is so important. You can target one Fiend monster in your graveyard, except Mudracker from the Underworld. Discard one card, and if you do, special summon that monster. Also, you can special summon monsters for the rest of the turn, except Fiend monsters. You're going to use the effect of this card once per turn. You're probably saying, V, why is this card needed? Like, why do I care about this card, V? Who cares? This card's trash. 2 effect monsters can't be used as link material to turn Sling Summon? Come on, V. You're better than that. No, trust me. I'm going with something here. It also says if a monster you control will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you contribute one Fiend monster instead. One Fiend monster instead means any Fiend monster, by the way. You can target one Fiend monster in your... Oh, yeah, I already read that effect. Alright, so why am I talking about this card? Why is this card a card you need to care about? Majority of Yu-Gi-Oh players watching this video right now going, V, what the hell, dude? Let me explain. Mudracker from the Underworld is a great card in more like a tournament build. Obviously, since you can discard a card, you can get value off that. But even more importantly, what if I said there's a card that Mudracker could bring out that stops Sprite Starter? I mean, shuts that card down. That stops. Your opponent cannot activate Sprite Smashers. Can't happen. That absolutely destroys Forbidden Drop, but it can't even activate it. And more importantly, by itself, shuts down the entire Runic engine minus the field spell. What if I said one card can do that? What would you say? Do you know that card already? Some of you might. Majority of you don't, though. It's a really old card. That card is Invader of Darkness. This card coming out of Invasion of Chaos originally. It says, only effect. As long as this card remains visible on the field, your opponent cannot activate quick play spells. Meaning, you can, your opponent can. So if you have Invader of Darkness, one of the ways your opponent will run and likely out it is Forbidden Droplet. Well, you can't do that. Well, man, I'll just hit with a Runic card. Yeah, you can't do that. I mean, unless your field spell does something, but yeah, they're all quick play spells. Well, I'll Sprite Smashers it. I'll get rid of it. No, you won't be doing that today. Sorry. Well, I like to activate my Sprite Starter, and no, you're not doing that either. Invader of Darkness came out originally out of Invasion of Chaos, but it has a bunch of other printings. The card is as cheap as the recent rare version coming out of Tactical Masters, which is like a cent. You probably already have the card already. This card is really good, and I think it's a great way to stop Yu-Gi-Oh! Players from playing all those spells. And this is why I'm personally, as Yu-Gi-Oh! Player, even though I love my Floowandereeze, I'm looking more into teal elements, because you can do crazy plays like this, which can net you a huge value. It's a bigger deal than a lot of players expect it to be. Now, once again, is this card a be-all, end-all? No. But it's yet another one of the many tech choices that teal elements can use in their toolbox to shut down their opponent. I just want to say this is a really cool tech. I saw it on a deck profile not too long ago. I'll be honest with you, I forgot what deck profile it was, but an absolutely amazing tech. And this is a really cool thing to catch a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Players off guard. Because in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh!, if your opponent is reading your cards, your opponent don't know what's going on, you're going to be in a huge position. It's going to put you in a massive advantage against your opponent. Even going Mud Racker from the Underworld, or Raker, whatever you want, Mud Crack, or whatever it's called from the Underworld, even going in this card, turn 1 against Sprites, or Sprite Runics, is still big if you was to mill that Invader of Darkness. Gee, how could you mill it? Gonna have to read those Tealman cards and see how that works. Once again, this is one of many techs. I think this is a great card. I think there are a lot of cool techs out there, and this is what Yu-Gi-Oh! Is about. Teching and outpacing your opponent by having the better advantage of cards. Buying it at a cheaper price point, so you don't have to buy a ton of, spend a lot of in the future, and making sure to get those cards before they really rise in value. Keep an eye for it on the market. Anyway, Paisano, this is your boy V, and you boys all have a great day.